Welcome to the Peer Effect Postbag. I'm James Johnson, joined by Freddie Birley. We asked for your questions, and Freddie and I are going to tackle them together. These aren't theoretical case studies, it's the stuff that's keeping you up at 2 a.m. Let's get answering. Welcome to the Peer Effect Postbag. I'm James Johnson.
And I'm Freddie Birley.
So, Freddie, what's been happening for you recently?
Well, today is a very big day because Taylor Swift has just released her new album. So,
Wow.
Yeah, big news to all Swifties that are celebrating, obviously. Already have favourite songs. And
do you?
Yeah.
Does this? I once got stuck on a train on the way to a Taylor Swift concert. I was on the way to a Taylor Swift concert, just to be clear. But my wife was having to explain to me why all these people were wearing four distinct types of clothing, sparkly.
Yeah.
So
cowboy boots, everything.
Yeah. Which era are you?
Oh, good question. So I actually went 3 times. So for the first one, I was Red.
Right.
The second one, I was Reputation. And then the third one, I was Fearless. I went with my best friend from school. And that was our school era, the Fearless album. Right. And so went full sparkle dress, crimped hair, the whole shebang.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was slightly scary being stuck on that train, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot. And you get all the friendship bracelets. But there was kind of a magic to it as well, because it's what she created in the Eras tour is completely remarkable. 4 songs back to back, hundreds of shows. I think it was a 4-hour concert. Every single album of her life. It's completely extraordinary.
I mean, just for obviously lots of us of listeners are founders. I mean, she has founded and created incredibly loyal fan base. Yeah. She's reinvented herself. She's pivoted. So she's an amazing founder.
Completely. She's reinvented herself essentially in every album, and also allowed herself that kind of full range. She's kind of like a bit of a modern Madonna in a way. Madonna reinvented herself a number of times, and there's a magic to that.
Yeah. I knew how she's taken back the control of it, that's the early stages. You don't know what you're doing. You may be taken advantage of by people. Yeah. And then how she's managed to take back that control. She's doing re-recordings and then
brought back all her music. It's magic. She's so inspiring. And also all of the places that she traveled to, she reinvested in local communities and did a lot. Yeah. For the region and the area, and she drove huge economic spikes in the areas that she toured in, and the way that she supports her team and invests in her team. And I think she's a really remarkable leader.
And also, I'm sort of a secondhand Swiftie because my wife loves her. But she was probably one of the first people to really use social media, like her and Lady Gaga, really, and had fan engagement, an authentic personality, like Lady Gaga with her monsters, and she's the mum. It feels like just the business, the business side of things, great quality product, really great, but the business part behind it as well, super impressive.
And it's also she makes really personal things scale, the way that she invites people into intimate parts of her life, whether it's her journals or letters that she's written, or there's this deep personalization, but also she's kind of cryptic. She leaves clues in lots of different parts of her work that almost there's an invitational mystery fun. It's very playful, which I love. Okay,
ideal future guest. We'll chat to Meg and see if next week on
yeah, exactly. Next week on the Postbag, T Swift is showing up.
Yeah. Hi, I've just done a huge global tour. How do I take it to the next level?
Exactly. This is it. This is it for sure.
Well, to jump into the question then for this week, the question is, and this is from Peter: how do you scale yourself as a leader without losing what made you effective in the first place?
It's actually an interesting question with the reinvention piece from T Swift. What have you seen in your clients?
I think the thing that comes to mind is authenticity. And I think as a leader, I suppose the company's changing, but you're also changing. And that doesn't mean that that's not necessarily an inauthentic change. It's just you might be growing older, you might be valuing different things. With some success comes different motivations. Yeah. And I think the danger of not changing and not scaling is more dangerous, because you kind of get through the survival phase and all the habits that got you through there start becoming a bit detrimental in the scaling phase.
Yeah.
So either you do change, or you sort of, I do know founders, I'm sure you do too, who've kind of think, oh, I actually really enjoy the scaling phase. I'm going to bring someone in, I'm going to go back and do the sort of the startup survival bit again, because that's the bit that I really love.
Yeah.
But I think if you are going to scale as a business, you do need to scale as a leader, and that doesn't have to be inauthentic.
Yeah, completely. It's a really interesting tension, because I think in one way there's that phrase, obviously, what got you here doesn't get you there. And that is true in terms of skill set and in terms of what the company requires of you. Like, being a team of 5 is so different to being a team of 100, 150, and kind of scaling more into that managerial or leadership. For some founders, they just don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
And this interesting tension of how do you stay attuned? I think about it as, how do you stay attuned to who you are, and what skills you actually want to develop, and how you want to grow in the process of scaling. And for some founders, the scaling is inspiring. They're energized by it, and it's incredibly difficult, but they're like 2 feet in with the challenge. It's like, I want to scale with this company. I want to grow as a manager. I want to grow as a leader. And for other founders, the scaling part actually is not energizing. It feels misaligned. It feels incredibly draining. They're exhausted or burnt out, not just because of the working hours, but because of the content of their working hours and what they're solving. And I've worked with a few founders who got to a stage of, one comes to mind around 50, 55, and his week was flooded with meetings and catch-ups and strategy sessions and more of your kind of classic CEO role, and he just missed the IC role of product and building and coding and spending hours in kind of deeply immersed in the building piece.
I think that's like, you can actually be quite conscious of how you design your role. I think there's a perception like how to be a CEO, how you do it. It's like, oh, I need to give away all this stuff, I need to do all this. And you end up doing all the work sometimes that you don't enjoy, because you feel like that's leadership. It's kind of doing the dirty stuff. Yeah. But also what you don't enjoy, someone else might. So that's kind of a logical fallacy. Yeah. And I do find that founders like to stay connected in some way. Like, maybe they're great at sales and they want to stay more involved in the sales side. They're really product led. How they spend more time in product, or they really like the hiring of people. So how they get into other people's. There's a balance between you're on the business and in the business.
Totally.
But if you're still in it, driving everything, it's hard to scale. Yeah. But if you're completely detached from it, well, that is also a danger. So I think choosing what you're, quite carefully and deliberately, what you're in with is quite important.
100%. And I think you often see burnout in founders when you're not attuned, and it's this interesting balance between like attunement and execution. And sometimes there's a lot you're doing, and so you kind of get the blinkers on and you're just focused on doubling down on executing without any sense of, how am I feeling in this, and what feels right. And I think that's an interesting push and pull tension. There's no right answer, but being like that kind of internal external balance is really important. Yeah.
And I think maybe also like choosing like the right team around you.
Totally.
So like, if you don't have the right team, it's very hard to be the leader you want to be.
Yeah.
But also it's hard to make them the right team if you're not the leader. So I think that sort of developing yourself as a leader, but also being quite conscious of your team and how you set it up, what personality types work with you, how to hold people accountable, how to make sure things are still happening without you having to get involved, because it's very hard to be out if your team is dragging you in.
Completely. And that again comes down to owning what you're good at. Like what you said, if founders tend to have a spike or a skew, and if you can own what you're good at and you're like brutally self-aware and brutally honest about what you're not good at or what you're not willing to grow into, then you can hire around you. And so the puzzle piece can complement. But I think a lot of founders get stuck on what does a founder do at this phase? And what does a really good founder do? Or what does a superstar founder do? And this idea that there is this perfect version of being a founder, and those founders know all the answers and they know exactly what they should be doing at this phase and how they should be growing. And then you get behind the scenes and you realize that everyone's just trying to figure it it all out.
Yeah.
And I think often founders compare their internal world to everyone's external world, and they see
Very nice.
LinkedIn and all of the TechCrunch articles and the sparkles, and they assume that those people know what they are doing, and often everyone's just figuring it out.
Yeah, it's going to take back the Taylor Swift example. You've kind of got like sort of on the one hand a global megastar that has like everything, and then you actually see behind the scenes, and it's like loneliness, strife, anxiety, all of those things that play out. Completely. But if you just look at the external perspective, it all looks very shiny. If you judge yourself against that, it's really tough, because you're never going to, they're not even living up to that.
No, exactly. It's so true. And that dissonance between what we assume or project onto other people. And it's so interesting when you kind of give yourself permission to be lost or confused, and still figuring it out. It's when people compare themselves to others, and then it's like, well, I'm never going to get there, or I'm never going to know how to do it, or if I was a good founder, I would be able to do this right now, and I can't, therefore I'm not a good founder. And then you see like the procrastination kick in, and they're not scaling in the ways that they could, because there's it's an identity crisis in many ways of, this isn't possible for me.
Yeah, you should almost choose an archetype and go, I can't live up to that archetype. I'm no Elon Musk. And it's
yes. And there are these characters. It's like the Elon Musk, the Steve Jobs. They're like these archetypal founder characters, and that idea of, if I'm not like them, then I'm never gonna succeed. And it's they scaled in different eras, different generations, different humans, different products. Like there's so much difference.
Yeah.
And actually, what people, each of the founders, there's a reason why they were uniquely placed to start this company, and there's a reason why they did it, and there's a reason why they're on that path. And I think sometimes like fully embracing it and giving it your all also increases the likelihood that you will succeed. And often it's the questioning that kind of buckles us up. And we all go through phases where we have a confidence knock or an identity crisis. It's a normal part of being human in some ways. But it's just how do you support yourself, or how do you scaffold yourself so you get out of those cycles quickly, and you go through the wintering.
So actually, it's a great question. It feels like there are lots of layers to it, but like, it's just to stay true to yourself, but also accept that what is best for you might be different to other people. And just try and avoid getting stuck and comparing yourself to someone that, even a version of someone, even if that person does exist, the version that you're comparing yourself to may not even exist in the first place. Yeah,
completely. And sometimes like the bigger the mountain, the smaller the step to move forwards is. And so often it's just like, what's the next right step? And so keeping in that mindset of just what's the next right step.
Amazing. Well, that was a great episode today. If you need to get in touch and ask us a question, you can reach out at hello@peer-effect.com, and we'll have you on the post bag.
Amazing. Thank you.